move on to the next talk on innovations in transplantation, education and training. May I invite once again the speaker, Dr. Maria Paula Gomez. Now I invite the chairpersons for this talk, Dr. Rajendra Pandey, Dr. Amit Gupta, Dr. Bibin Pal, and Dr. Subho Banerjee. Over to the chairpersons.
Yeah, I can ask Dr. Bipin to introduce, or Dr. Shubho, you can do the introduction.
Yeah, I'll do the introduction. So Dr. Maria Gomez, she is the medical director for Donation and Transplant Institute in Barcelona, and she has had vast experience in organ donation. She has been working with multiple national, international, and global organizations regarding transplantation, procurement, and so forth. So, one of the major issues with transplantation in India and other developing countries is that, cost, outcomes, these are there. But access to transplant training and access to transplant education is also lacking in some places. And we have been catching up, but again, definitely the progress has been slow. So there is a definite need of innovation in this field, so that transplant training can reach those countries, especially who are lagging far behind. And so that it is accessible to more and more people, just as the previous speakers were talking, to the more underprivileged society sections of the society in the global level. So I would invite Dr. Maria to please continue with her talk.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you also for inviting me to participate to this wonderful Congress. I will share my presentation. I have some videos, so I hope it will go well. Can you see my slide?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. So in the following 15 minutes, as the chairperson introduced, we will talk about innovation in transplantation, focusing education and training. And I always, when I approach a subject, instead to start with the what and the how, I always like to ask why we have to think about innovation in education, why we are in donation and transplantation, of course, why we have to think that it's important to train our healthcare professionals in transplantation and donation. So I think that all of us, we are well aware about the answer, and is the best practice in organ donation and transplant. It stands for a specialization of healthcare professional dedicated to this matter. No, not only for transplantation, but also we need a specialist dedicated to disease organ donation. And then if we review some of the literature in this regard, we have this study published in Transplant International in 2010 that analyzed 11 countries during 2 years. And then here on the right, you can see the list of some of these countries. And that they did was apply a hospital attitude survey. So they measure in the critical care staff, mainly, they measure the level of knowledge, the confidence regarding donation and transplantation activities, and the attitude, positive or negative attitudes about the same subject. And that they discovered was that there were a positive correlation between the critical care staff attitude, positive attitude, confidence level to run disease organ donation and transplant activity, and educational needs or educational knowledge. There were a positive correlation with high donation rate. So that I want to say is highest the level of confidence or the positive attitude or the level of knowledge in the healthcare professionals, highest the donation rate. What else? This study is from Australia. They also measure how the training impact the organ donation consent. And then they compared 3 groups of healthcare professionals and their success in the family approach. And 75% of families agreed to donation when conversation was performed as a team approach, including not only the hospital staff, but also the transplant procurement manager. Now, remember, just for the ones who are not familiar with the Australian model, they have ICU doctors also dedicated to disease organ donation, together with nurses dedicated to disease organ donation. So it's a teamwork. So when this group specialized in this subject, they approach for organ donation, the consent rate were near to 75%. When the families were approached, 50% of the family agreed to donation, where conversation was led by only this specialist coordinator. And then 45% of the family agreed to donation when conversation was led by hospital staff alone, meaning the treating doctor or any other specialist from the service where the potential donor was. So what else? This is from UK. This is a study that they measure, they evaluate 16,000 family approach, and that they want to analyze was the factors influencing family consent. And then again, they demonstrate, or they found, that specialist donation nurses leading the approach was one of the factors that impact in the positive consent for organ donation. And again, it is this specialist donation person have been trained in this matter and gain experience as well. But it's not only for family. What about organ donation conversion rate? So, and we have an example here in India, in Kerala. This is Dr. Murali, who is an intensive care doctor from KMS in Kerala. And that we observe here is how trained professionals plus experience is equal to a higher conversion rate. So is all these potential donor that finally is possible to convert to actual donor. And here in the figure of the right, we can see how, if we compare from his center from 2018 to 2019, the conversion rate increased in 21%, which is the figure in orange. So I think that there is no doubt that training in donation and transplantation is one of the key strategies to increase this activity in any country. So the challenge is how you introduce all of this, which is the donor after death by neurological criteria process, how you teach and how you aware the healthcare professionals about this process, no, and the different steps, and challenge also how in the middle of a pandemic situation where we're not possible to move around the different countries, or to people or healthcare professional were not able to visit hospitals around the world to get knowledge and experience. So how you compile all of this and provide to the healthcare professional in an effective way. So University of Barcelona, together with Donation and Transplantation Institute, we offer since 2004 a master degree in donation and transplantation. Also, since 2011, this is blended modular structure that include donation, transplantation, management, tissue bank, and internship. Due to COVID-19 restriction in 2020, it was needed to convert this 100% online. So you can see here in the figure the different pathway, the possibilities, if you are more focused in transplantation, or you are more interested in procurement, or tissue bank, or leadership and management in organ donation. Also, there is the possibility to do a postgraduate, not the master, only the postgraduate in each of the subject, or how to teach about family approach, and we will see some examples of this, family approach for organ donation, or DCD, donor after circulatory death, or advanced transplant procurement management approach. So the syllabus has remained stable in the program 2020-2021 as well for the 2022, but the main change was all the theoretical sessions were converted to virtual classroom, and the practical simulation have been replaced by live session. So we already now use new online tools as immersive training to substitute the internship and the family approach. We use virtual reality tour to simulate a tertiary Spanish hospital, and it allowed the interaction with the staff. And also in the family approach experience, the students can virtually meet with patients' families. and practice their communication skills. Of course, we measure the impact of this training. So we compare two periods, 2011, 2019, and then we compare with the students from the 2020 and compare not only the grades obtained, but also the satisfaction from the students regarding this new modality. So this is one of the innovation. This is called Game of Donor. It's a video game, actually. It's a video game where the participants will be able to walk around the hospital and find potential donor. And the learning objectives of this activity was or is to demonstrate an active and dynamic way of identifying potential donor, making a special emphasis on effective screening. So it's possible through the game do the donor assessment and donor evaluation. Another learning objectives is to provide the participants with the necessary skill to identify potential brain dead patient and to highlight the key steps within the donor detection and assessment, reinforcing the importance of establishing working relationships. So I will play, I hope this video has not sound, but I hope it will run. Please let me know if you are not seeing the video and I can adapt. So it's coming from a project funded by the European Commission. The students will select an avatar, so they will be represented in the game with an avatar and with a color, and they play against each other. So it's a group of 5 or 6 students that they will be able to play together. And then, as we will see here, this is a very short video. It's only 2 minutes. As we will see here, so this is the student that is in front of a hospital, in a reception of a hospital. And then through some dialogues, the avatar of the students will interact with the different other avatars in the hospital. So here, this is the hospital, where you can see the emergency room, a general ICU, and then here is how the student start to play. No, this is a game that the student will be able to access remotely from their computer. And also it is possible to install, we already have installed them in tablets. So also when face-to-face courses happen again, the students will play with tablets. And then that the game is teaching to the students is first about the TPM, no, the role of the TPM and the different material of the TPM, and then how the TPM has to make these daily rounds through the different intensive care units in the hospital. This is how the avatar is moving around the game. As I mentioned to you, the different places: coronary ICU, respiratory ICU, traumatology ICU. And then the avatar, the student, will interact with the ICU physician, with the treating doctor, in order to assess the possible and the potential donors. You will see now how medical record will be open here. So you can see the student will see the different type of potential and possible donor, a clinical history, medical test, and then the student will have to start to classify this type of patient as a possible, potential, eligible, or non-eligible according to the clinical characteristics. So here we remark with the students the donor assessment and donor evaluation. And after, when the student finish, this is about maybe 15 minutes game, when the student finish, so in the live streaming workshop, there is a discussion about of the cases that the student already identified. So let me stop this. Okay, this is one. So the another tool that we develop in the group is about family approach. So this is a virtual reality. So the students receive these goggles, these glasses that is possible to see in a virtual reality dimension. And then they will have the opportunity to interview a family So they will go through the different steps of family interview preparation, breaking bad news, and then finally a donation request. Sorry, can I confirm that you are seeing the videos?
We are not able to see the video actually.
Okay, no. So hold on. Let me share with you because I have videos. Okay, well, it's a pity, and I don't know what happened because I tried and it works. But anyhow, well, this video that I would like to show you is how the student will go through this virtual reality and then will be able to approach a family, go through the different steps of the family approach. So interview preparation, then speak about the bad news. So how a student should explain the family about the brain death declaration, and then finally about the donation request. The importance of this tool, this virtual reality video, is that the students will receive a feedback. So each time, in each step of this game, the students will be able to receive a feedback if they did a good or a bad approach. And then the third video, and I will not play the third tool, is about a journey of this transplant procurement manager across or through the hospital. So it will be possible to the student, also using these Googles, move around the different places, emergency department, intensive care unit, and interact with the different doctors in each of these services. So it's another way to teach the TPM how, what is their role and how this interaction should happen. So it's a pity because there were like 2 or 3 minute video that explain very well, but anyhow, I can share with you later. What else? So we also develop live streaming workshops. So through our different TPM courses, it was possible. This is in the right side. You can see how the students will see the simulation. So the students will be able to interact in a live, in real time, with the tutor or with the professor, and guide the professor with the different activities. And here in the left that you can see, well, is the camera and all the paraphernalia that is needed to implement to be able to produce this type of training. So what happened when we compare the previous technology with the current performance? So as I mentioned to you, we compared two groups till 2019, and then 2020, 2021. And as you can see here in blue, you can see before 2019, and in orange, 2020, 21, participant grades, means the marks that they obtain, and you can see that they were not different. They are not practically different in any of the different modules. And then in the right, you can see the participant satisfaction. And comparing these two groups, we can see how the participant satisfactions of the core of 2020 was very high. So as a conclusion, we can say that best practice in donation and transplantation is equal to train healthcare professional. Training to healthcare professional in donation and transplantation is one of the key strategies to enhance the system in India, and virtual reality, live streaming, augmented reality, and many other tech tools will support the gaining of new knowledge to those students. Hybrid modality training enlarge the access to high number of people, which is another reality. We are able to receive, or more people will be able to receive this type of training. The inclusion of new technologies have been essential to keep offering high quality international educational program. And of course, it's possible to keep exploring new technologies that may also improve efficiency and will allow us to keep spread the knowledge and exchange practice all over the world. So just I would like to first invite all of you to the next international workshop in family approach, who will start now in November 15. And thanks all the team here in the slide that, of course, without them will not be possible to develop all of this new innovation in education. So thank you very much, and apologize that I was not able to run the videos, but the one who is interested to watch the videos or to receive more information about these tools, feel free to write to me. This is my email address, or we can chat anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. There is one question I want to ask you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So in initial slides, you have shown that the conversion rate is 75% when the hospital staff plus the transplant coordinator is involved, in comparison to 55% when only the coordinator is involved. So this hospital staff means what? Means is it intensivist only, or is it also the people who are involved in transplant? Because there can be conflict of interest and there can be medical legal issues arising out of it. So who are the people who are involved in the hospital staff?
Thank you very much for your question. The first clarification that I would like to do is about the word transplant coordination, because the transplant coordinators in Australia are not the same profile of the transplant coordinators that India has. So the transplant coordinators in Australia, they are doctors, ICU doctors. ICU doctors. So when they talk about transplant coordinator, Australia is talking about ICU doctors specialized in disease organ donation. This is just one clarification. And when they talk about the staff, hospital staff, they are talking about treating doctor. It means another colleague from the ICU unit or from the surgical department, but not involved in transplantation. So at this stage in Australia, no one from the transplant side, means transplant surgeon or clinician, speak with the family. So the approach is done by ICU doctor specialized in disease organ donation, plus sometimes with an ICU doctor act or in the role of treating doctor.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was an excellent lecture, Dr. Gomez. And I think we need to sort of, in India at least, this is an important aspect on transplantation, which needs to be looked at. One of the major problems that we face in our country is regarding the approaching the relatives for organ donation after death. Because unfortunately in this country, many of the patients' relatives view the medical system with certain degree of suspicion, because they feel that the care has not been appropriate, or they have been overcharged or billed. And so they are at times rather agitated, in an agitated frame of mind. And many times when the people go and approach them, they bluntly refuse, or they take, they're very much offended by the acceptance. So I think this training of yours will be of great benefit to many of our transplant coordinators, how to approach these patients.
Thank you very much. And maybe if I can add, training is important, but also the profile of the people is important. So here, this is why I would like to clarify the profile of the donor coordinator or the transplant procurement managers in Australia, no? That they are ICU doctor. And when we listen the presentation of Dr. Beatriz Dominguez, we will see that profile is similar here in all Europa, not only in all Europe, not only in Spain. So you are right, Dr. Gupta. The training and the specialization of the healthcare professional who are involved in disease organ donation is a key, but also the profile of these people. No?
Okay, so do you think? I mean, first of all, I must congratulate you for the excellent talk. So, do you think with the addition of these virtual platforms, the training has gone from basic to better? Like, is there? These participants' satisfactions were actually higher, because this opens up a new opportunity. If you really think the training with the virtual platforms is better, so then, like, it need not be, one-to-one or limited to a classroom. It can be on a global scale or like that. So, do you really think it has been better than that? Like what previously was being done?
actually, we was very glad to see that the level of satisfaction was really high. No, but we believe that something that this situation, this pandemic, teach us is about the importance of the hybrid modality. So I don't think that we have to convert just for virtual alone. I think that we have, when the times allowed all of us, we have to keep going with the virtual, but also restart some of the face-to-face activities, because they also have their advantage. No, the only true also is that you say is virtual activities will allow that more people around the globe will be able to access this type of activities, this type of training.
So, if there are no more comments or questions from my co-chairpersons, shall we thank Professor Gomez for an excellent talk?
Yes, I don't think there are any more questions even in the chats or anything.
Yes.
Thank you so much indeed, Professor Gomez, for highlighting this very important aspect of renal transplantation. And I'm sure that your message and training methods will be a great benefit to our people in India. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor
Thank
Gomez,
you.
and I thank the chairpersons for chairing the session.